Imagine this. You notice your partner going through your phone at night, lying about it even when confronted with evidence. From secret social media logins to hidden vaping, a wife's constant lies have created a rift. Let's get into it. Original post. Anyone's wife constantly lie even when they're caught? My wife and I had a rocky start to our relationship. It started with my wife looking over my shoulder at my phone. Then she started going through it at night and lying to me about it, even though I felt her touching it, and apps were open I didn't have open. She logged into my Facebook and then lied to me about it, even though I had evidence. The behavior got worse with hormones during the pregnancy, and now she's lying about vaping when I caught her on our baby monitor in the living room. And she continues to tell me she's not smoking, and I keep finding vapes in places I've already cleaned. Then she'll tell me I'm the problem in the marriage and there's no romance and I don't do things. I do the laundry, food shopping, organizing, half the dishes, and use the dishwasher. What am I missing, honestly? Have you ever dealt with dishonesty in a relationship? How did you handle it? Let's hear some stories and advice in the comments below.
You're not missing anything. She's just a shit person. She's just a shit person. That's what he's missing.
Red flag.
There are two types of women who look through a man's phone. Then, ones who admit it and the ones who lie about it. The problem is the general impression of men being fine. Upstanding people are almost non-existent. I've got quite a large group of women friends and have yet to find one who hasn't cheated at least once in their life, and usually people who do things like that are convinced everyone else is doing it because they can't see why they wouldn't. It's okay though, because when I spoke to those women, they reassured me it was the man's fault they cheated because we were on a break. He wasn't satisfying me right, we'd had a fight, it didn't mean anything, and many more impressive acts of mental gymnastics. I've found just being honest about wanting to try the occasional swingers meet or threesome makes for a more trusting relationship than hoping neither of you will stray for the next 50 years of your lives. But that's usually something people can't comprehend until they get into their 30s onwards.
You're missing the clear problem. You're married to a shithead. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. Why do you allow it to happen?
We have a 4-month-old son together, and currently, I feel it's better to try to weather the storm and maybe convince my wife to try therapy for our son's sake.
You're not wrong. PPD is a hard period to go through, brother. There is a good basis for weathering the storm when your wife is going through a hard period, some of which may be hard for her to control. That does not excuse or absolve her of her shitty behavior, but it does help explain it. You have other people's interests to consider here, mostly your child's. We do make a lot of personal sacrifices in relationships. The Reddit answer is always going to be just leave. I think your issues need to be dealt with, and a lot of patience needs to be exercised. That doesn't mean you need to keep investing into a sunk cost fallacy, but it also doesn't mean you just pull the parachute either. You should consider counseling or therapy, both individually and as couples. You may not need therapy, but it does help to have someone to bounce ideas off of that specializes in helping people do that. They're certainly going to be more helpful than Reddit, and if you're seeking advice here, it means you probably need it. You will get a variety of advice here, which is good, but most of it won't be quality advice. With a therapist, you might get more quality advice, but maybe not as much variety.
Dude, I say this with all respect and empathy. You've already lost. Things don't get better with kids. You're either going to suffer for the next 18 years or suffer during a divorce. Figure out which one seems more worth it to you.
The kid struggled for 18 years with parents that hate each other.
Struggling with a kid for 18 years, dude? Not even a fucking contest. I don't know what led up to you deciding to marry and have a kid with this woman, but I'm betting you've seen this behavior for a long time. Don't get stuck in the sunk cost fallacy. The earlier you leave, the better. Kids don't end up happy with parents that hate each other. They end up fucked up.
Being with a shit person as a partner is worse. I've lived both sides of the coin at this point in time. I was with my ex until my daughter was 8. Now I'm remarried. Sure, I wish I got to see my daughter every day, but I'm mentally in a better place, and I'm happy to finally be showing my daughter what a healthy relationship looks like, because she's certainly not going to get that with her mother.
I'd be paternity testing the kid. It's not uncommon for people who are cheating to develop trust issues and start snooping. Plus, you've already caught her lying to you multiple times. If the kid isn't yours, better to rip that Band-Aid off now and make a decision what you want to do rather than find out years down the track and be devastated.
I wasted a decade with a shit woman. Thank God I didn't have kids. I'm so much happier. Get out, bro. She has a personality disorder, and you will never be her catalyst to change. She will probably never stop hurting you or others.
I can't tell you what's worse in your situation, but I very recently went through a similar one. Same kind of behavior from my now ex-wife. Have a toddler and a newborn. Situation got worse and worse in terms of her behavior. Divorce is behind me now, and I feel so relieved. The children will benefit far more from having at least one happy parent. I'm not sure she will be, but I am. I'm mostly stress-free now and can give 100% of my attention and love to the children when I'm with them, without having this cloud of negativity surrounding me constantly.
I grew up in this house and 100% agree. It took me until my 30s, at least 5 years of marriage and several years of therapy, to understand how much my upbringing had fucked up my view of relationships. My wife is a saint for putting up with me back then.
It's really frustrating when trust in a relationship is compromised by constant lying. I can't imagine how difficult it must be to deal with that every day. Let's keep going.
She's gaslighting you and can't take accountability, man. You got yourself in some deep shit. I hope everything else is going well at least.
Dude, I say this with all respect and empathy. You've already lost. Things don't get better with kids. You're either gonna suffer for the next 18 years or suffer during a divorce. Figure out which one seems more worth it to you.
You're missing the phone number of a divorce lawyer.
I used to live with a woman who got up early every day and turned my alarm clock off so I would be late to work. Then when I asked her if she did that, she would say no. This went on for a year, so yes.
You gave a red flag to a baby. Better make sure it's yours. If she lies about small things, she can lie about big things.
Yep. A DNA test is very quick and inexpensive. A buddy of mine just did one because he didn't trust the mom and not the biological father.
Cheaters project big time when they're cheating and often assume their partner is cheating as well. Get a fucking DNA test on her child and do not take no as an answer. If she refuses a DNA test, leave her. Way to pick a shit woman BTW. She sounds like a Q next Tuesday.
I'd have ended the relationship before it got to marriage. I can't abide dishonesty.
What are you missing? You're missing the fact that you are married to a narcissist and pathological liar.
This sounds like my wife. She will tell the most ridiculous lies, then double down, refusing to come clean even with irrefutable proof. It's as if deep down she believes if she doesn't change her story, it will magically become the truth. You better get used to it. She's not going to change.
Have these men tried discussing it openly with their wife, partner, to understand why she feels the need to lie? Sometimes seeking counseling together can help address these issues and rebuild trust. Let's keep reading.
I don't understand why you would stay in a relationship with someone who lies to you all the time. I have never lied to my husband. There is no grey area of lies when it comes to your spouse or partner, or any relationship for that matter.
I don't mean to come off as harsh because it sounds like you are going through a lot with your wife, but I want to relay something I've experienced multiple times with many people. The longer you stay, the less time you have to make a better life for you and your kids. My mother is doing this at 65 years of age. Finally, after us kids telling her to divorce for like 20-25 years, we are in our mid-30s. I hate to say it, but her behavior won't get better. It will only get worse. I haven't seen a relationship that had an improvement like the one you are going through. But maybe I'm wrong. My mom finally split from my dad and is now realizing she did it too late, and her life is going to be harder and lonely because of it. I'm trying to keep her company in the meantime so she doesn't go back because my father is a lying, gaslighting, abusive piece of shit. Take what I say with a grain of salt, and good luck, internet strangers. Nadiv.
Sounds like she is a chronic cheater who is projecting. But then again, maybe I am just jaded because that is what it meant when my now ex-wife was doing that stuff.
I can confidently say she would never cheat. She doesn't leave the house, she works from home, and I'm always the one running out for errands unless she comes with me.
My dude, don't be naive. It only takes 10 minutes to get it in. And that's being generous. I'm not saying she's cheating. I am saying don't blind yourself to the possibility, especially with the drastic behavior change, the suspicions, the lying, the gaslighting, and manipulation. These are all things that could easily point to infidelity.
My ex didn't have sex with another guy. but she was messaging him all the time. I found their convos and saw things like, if you were here, it definitely wouldn't be hypothetical, talking about sex. I was the same as you. We had a 5YO daughter together. I was the only one working and also doing the majority of the household chores. Emotional cheating is a real thing, and she doesn't need to leave the house to do it. Their affection for you diminishes. Their kisses and hugs don't feel the same. I found all these messages and kept it secret for days to see how she would act after I knew the truth. When I confronted her, she tried gaslighting me because she sensed I was onto her and started deleting all their messages. I hope this isn't the case for you, mate, but it's definitely possible.
In my experience, skilled liars will always choose lying over the truth if they think it is easier, and they will take a calculated gamble on what you know and only admit to the things they think you know. Then they will weave those facts back into lying.
LMC, when you found out you're not the father of that child.
Yes, I had a wife who did that. Now she's my ex-wife for a reason. It's impossible to have a relationship when there are trust issues and boundaries being stepped over.
You picked a person who needs help in her life because she's doing everything she can to manipulate you rather than simply communicate her desires. She's full of trauma, and she's traumatizing you as a result. It would be a huge undertaking to get her to the point of honestly learning to care about you. I don't think I'd be interested.
My wife will look me dead in the eye and lie to me. She knows I know the truth. It does not matter. Lies about big stuff, small stuff, does not matter.
You messed up not dumping the bitch from the very beginning.
Sounds like a very stable relationship. Like, I'm sure all these signs were present before you married her, but you decided to ignore them. And then you decided to have a baby with said woman.
If she does this, why are you still with her? At some point, you need to admit that the agony is caused by your decisions, not her lying.
Lol, bro's really getting gaslit to hell. She sounds like a fucking nightmare, my guy. I don't want to suggest the old D word, but man, it's worth a thought.
Trust is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship, and addressing dishonesty head-on is crucial. If you're facing similar challenges, know that you're not alone, and seeking open communication and support can make a difference. Until next time, take care and prioritize honesty in all your relationships. Subscribe for more.